Brittany, thank you so much for coming on the EntrepreNudist podcast. Can you do me a favor and introduce yourself? Tell us what you do and something that most people might not know about you.
Well, my name is Brittny Briggs. I'm a cosmetologist, a hairstylist, I'm an educator, and I've been doing so for 13 years. And something that most people don't know about me is that I am shy. I'm somewhat of an introvert, as you might say. So, there you go.
So why you think they might not know that about you? Does what most people say that you're an extrovert?
Well, because I know that because I'm a hairstylist, a lot of people think that, most hairstylists are outgoing and talkative and in your face. And I think I'm the complete opposite.
So so are you saying that your clients come to you and they just relax, uh, no conversation, or you selective about the conversation?
Selective about the conversation. I'm not like an open book. Only my close personal clients know personal details about me. Um, I it takes a minute for me to warm up to you.
Understood. Understood. Do you remember the first time that you got into hair? What made you think, all right, this is something that I want to do?
Well, when I graduated high school, I was going to UNF. I was actually going for elementary education. But on the side, after I got out of school, I would go to um, the salon. I was working as a shampoo assistant of my hairstylist when I was in high school. One day she said, I need somebody to help me work up here. So I was like, I'll do it. Just real random, one of those one of those things. And I had a I've done my friend's hair. I've done, my client, I mean, not my clients, but, my family. But I never thought of it as a profession. I didn't have any idea that that was something that I wanted to do and until I started working into the salon. So when I started working up there, I just fell in love with, the sisterhood, all of the different types of people that I encountered, just it was a whole different type of lifestyle or that I was accustomed to that I never knew, but I fell in love with it. And one day I was shampooing this lady's hair, and it was pretty, and the hairstylist that I was working for put her under the dryer. And before she put her under the dryer, she showed a track. She showed a track that she had in the front of her hair, and I did not know that it was weave. And that was like the aha moment. Like, it's so many different things that we as women, Black women especially, can do with their hair, and people have no idea all that goes into it. So at that moment, I was like, I think I'm going to go to hair school. I think this is something that I can do. And the lady whose hair, the ladies who I was working with, the lady who hired me, she became really one of my best friends. As we grow, it was an age difference, but we just, you know, we fell in love with each other.
So how long were you shampooing before that opportunity came?
Well, well, I worked as a shampoo assistant for 2 years. The first year I worked there, I was still at UNF. When I finished out my semester, that's when I went to hair school. And while I was in hair school, I was I was still a shampoo assistant.
So I like to, because it seems like you were at the right place at the right time. Uh,
Right.
but the reason why you were there was because you were a shampoo assistant. Why
Hmm.
did you? But prior to that, as you said, you never thought about hairdressing as a profession. Why did you choose to do a shampoo assistant then maybe a call center job? What made you go shampoo assistant than something that people typically do part time while in college?
I guess I like doing different things. I had just finished working at a call center. I had a call center job, and it was a 9 to 5, and those are my school hours. So I figured, while I'm in college, I could do something with a little bit more flexibility. So, I had quit that job prior to me starting school, and so I started working as a shampoo assistant after that. So it was just because of the flex. I thought I was believing that it would be more flexible, but as time went on, being a cop, those hours and it's very demanding. Be you have to make sure that your clients and you're appeasing to them and their schedule. So you know, it was some long hours put in as a shampoo assistant.
And when you raised your hand, right? Because she's like, I need some help, and you said me. She didn't, she could have just said, nah, not you. Stick to what you're doing, Brittany. But what are some things that you think that you might have did as a shampoo assistant that might have made it to where she trusted to give you an opportunity? Is there any over the years of being a shampoo assistant? Did you pick up any do's and don'ts that maybe every shampoo assistant should know?
Well, I would, I like to learn. I like to try different things. I like to be the best at what I do. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it all the way. I'm not gonna half ass it. I don't know if I can say that, but I really like to
Everybody think I don't
be good
cuss.
at. I'm not gonna half ass it, but I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it because I seen. I guess I it was something that I'm supposed to be doing. I had a gift that I didn't even know that I had, and I just when she would teach me how to do things, I tried to perfect it, and she's seen that, and so instead of just shampooing, I'll maybe apply a color or I'll apply a relaxer. She trusted me to do different things other than what your normal shampoo assistant would do.
Hmm.
I don't want to tell it all because I really wasn't supposed to be doing it, but I did a little bit more, a little bit extra than what your average shampoo assistant was doing.
Understood. Statute of limitations is
Mhm.
up. So all right. So she would show you something, and you would try to
Mhm.
perfect it.
Mhm.
Do you remember a time where you tried to do something different than how you were taught, and maybe it didn't turn out how you thought it would, and how you overcame that? I know you got a good story. You messed up somebody here at least once, and you had to overcome.
Oh, yeah, I have. When I was in hair school, I used a relaxer on someone's hair that was a little bit too strong, and some of her hair fell out.
Oh Lord.
So I had to cut it, and she had to wear a shortcut, but she ended up loving it. When I cut her hair, it was the short hairstyle. She ended up loving it, and she came through my duration of hair school. She was one of my clients, and she
Okay.
continued to come to me.
So it sounds like you messed up, but you didn't run away from it. Because uh, I think some salon people might try to hide their mistake or even blame the customer. But
Right.
you overcame it. You gave her a look that she wasn't expecting, And she ended up being one of your longtime customers.
Right. And even after I graduated hair school, she came to me when I went and worked into a salon. Not for long though, but she did end up, I knew her for a little while after I graduated.
That's good. That's good.
Hmm.
So you say you went, did you get a degree before you went to hair school, or what is that? When I say hair school, what am I trying to say? What goes into becoming a licensed cosmetologist and hairstylist? Because I heard you using those two words not interchangeably, but as if they're different.
Well, what you have to be, you have to, if you don't have your diploma, because you have to have your diploma to go into hair school, or you have to have went to like one of those skills centers, or I think I can't remember. It's a test that you have to take, and you have to score a certain amount on that test before you're able to apply. But no, I didn't have a degree. I just had my diploma. Is that?
Oh yeah, so basically you were in college and you said, "All right, boom, this is what I want to do. I'm here."
Hmm. Right.
Because some people don't figure that out until after 4 years of college, right?
No, I really, I fell in love with it, and I just didn't see myself doing anything else.
So after you got your license, did you continue
Hmm.
to work in another shop? How does that work? What after you got your license, what was the first thing you did?
After my After I got my license, I found a salon that would let me work until I got my real license. Okay, so when you graduate hair school, you get a certificate to go take a test. So you go to one of those testing centers, you send it in, they'll tell you to call one of these testing centers, and they give you a date to come take the test, which probably was like a month after I graduated. And between that month and after I graduated, I was working at a flea market. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, so I was working in the Norwood flea market. So that was my first 3 months of hairstyling. And I took the test, I passed it, and they tell you if you pass or fail right then and there. So after I got my license, I worked in the flea market for another 2 months, and then I worked into another salon after that.
So how does that usually work? Do you people who work in someone's salon, do they
Hmm.
usually pay for a seat, or how does that? What's the typical arrangement that usually happens when somebody wants a chair in someone else's salon?
There's a few different ways that people do it. Um, you have what is called commission based, which is what a lot of people who just got out of hair school they gravitate towards because you get paid regardless. You get an hourly rate and you get commission off of the people that you do, which is usually like your hair cutteries and your, JC Penney's and places like that. Most of the chain salons are commission based salons. And then, I started at a booth rental. And what that is that you pay a weekly rate for your chair.
What gave you that confidence? Because, like you say, most people after they get out of school go to that commission base because they got that security. What was
Mhm.
happening for you that you believe might have been different than most other people to where you were willing to pay rent? Because I guess that means that you're going to be able to collect more money as
Mhm.
opposed to the commission.
Well, because I had a relationship with the people that I had been working with. Um, and I had been in the salon for 2 years before I even started working.
Hmm.
So I was just a little bit more confident in myself, and I didn't really have a lot of bills back then. You know, I've been doing this practically since I was out of high school. So I was still living with my mom, and I just figured just to give the booth rental a try because my mentors, that's what they did. So I went, I fell in line with what they were doing.
And I like that you mentioned mentors because I want to talk about that in a minute because I do
Hmm.
think that's important. Anybody, whatever industry that they want to be in or what they consider successful, you got to find somebody that's been doing this for a long time before you, so you can learn from their
Hmm.
mistakes and
Exactly.
that sort of stuff. So, how long do you still rent a booth, or do you have your own shop? How does that work?
Well, right now I have a suite, which is it's like a something the size of like a living room, and it's your own personal space. It has a shampoo bowl inside of it, dryers, and you decorate it yourself. So, you know, mine is big enough to where if I wanted to have another person in there, I could, and that's something that I'm looking to do within the next, you know, next year. That's one of my goals is to configure it in a way so I can have another person working in there with me, and they could be, you know, they could be, you know, somebody that I can teach because I've gotten to a point now where, you know, I want to, you know, teach other people, and my clientele is getting big. It's getting to a point where I have to turn people away, and I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to turn business away. I want to keep growing, keep expanding. So my goal for 2021 is to have people work under me
That's good. That's a good
or
goal.
to teach people.
That's a good goal. So tell me, have you ever saw someone in a salon where they seemed like they had some good skills, but for whatever reason they didn't have that many customers? Do you know? Have you ever seen that before? Or usually, if you got skills, you got customers regardless.
It could be a person's attitude. It could be a person's work ethic. You can have skills, but you are always late. You know, you could have skills, but you have a bad attitude. You could have skills, but you're real slow. You know, those are just things that you might have some clients, but you won't have the clientele that will probably sustain you because, you know, it's not just about making someone's hair cute. You know, it's a business ultimately. And you have to run your salon, your business, your skill, your service as a business. You know, you have hairstylists who just do hair, but you know, a lot of hairstylists don't know the business aspect to it. You know, you have to have customer service skills. You don't want to go into a restaurant and pay them your money and they're giving you poor service. It's just the same. It's the same way with hairstyling. You know,
So, what's an example of a something service related that's bad that a stylist should avoid if they want to keep their customers?
um, I guess something that I've seen that I've worked with someone who, you know, they had a pretty decent clientele, but it could have been better because he was always late. Like he would be 2 and 3 hours late, and he would have people waiting on him. And you know, there's been people who I have cursed him out while he wasn't even there, and just left and haven't didn't come back to him, or they'll go to somebody else while they're waiting 2 3 hours for him. Um, he would take breaks and go out and have smoke breaks, and you know, it's just you have to have some level of professionalism in order to maintain clients.
So being on time sounds like it's the most important thing.
Yeah, being on time, and I would also say the mood and the atmosphere of the salon. You have your, lack of a better word, ghetto salons,
Got
and then you
got
have
Boosie
your
playing in the background. Come on.
that's the clientele you want. That's what you gravitate towards. You'll usually have like the younger people. But if you want, it just depends on the type of clientele that you want. You want established, more well established women who, have some things going on for themselves. You maintain that type of atmosphere that they want to be in.
So I'm assuming that's your demographic. Is that it? The older demographic? That's what you prefer?
I do. I say between, you know, my age, my target client or my ideal client is between 30 and 50. Usually they're loyal. They know they stick with one person and they go to them. Um, they come 2 weeks, every 2 weeks or weekly. They're coming every week. So, and they're dependable. So, you know, it's easier.
So let's say it's somebody they're watching you right now and they saying, I'm very good
Hmm.
at what I do. I'm on time. I think I like Brittany's philosophy because I think it's mine. But I am doing the younger hood and I love them. I love them. But I
Hmm.
want some regular clientele now. Uh, what would you say is one of the first things that they should do if they want to switch up their clientele?
Well, the first thing that they should do is they should find out. You have to advertise, of course. You have to find out what that market or what those age of people, what they like. What are they doing on their spare time? What can you do to be attracted to them? You may have to do someone's hair who they, like an influencer of someone in that age range. You do someone do their hair, they post it on Instagram or something like that. And then you have your age range of people that's looking at that. And then they'll say, oh, let me look at her page. Let me see what she's about. You just have to do stuff to your demographic.
I see that you have a very beautiful short haircut. I'm a fan of the short
Hmm.
hair, right? And
Okay,
and I
right.
was on your page recently, and I saw that you
Hmm.
had multiple short hair clients. Of course, you had long hair clients too. But uh,
Hmm.
do you think the reason why you have, or do you think you have a larger ratio of short hair clients? And if so, do you think it's because you rock a shortcut and they say, okay, uh, she know what I'm dealing with, so I'm gonna go to her.
I do. I believe so. You attract what you are. So, a lot of my clients come to me, they are short hair. That's what I hear a lot of people accolades for that. When I hear people, oh, Brittany, she do the shortcuts. That's what I'm known for. So I would say that's my specialty. And color. I do a lot of color as well. So those are the two hairstyles that I would definitely associate with myself.
So is establishing your specialty important for what you do?
Yeah, I feel like in any business when you're selling something, you want to niche down. You of course you're a cosmetologist, you're a hairstylist. Of course you can do other things, but if you niche down and you give people less to focus on, it's easier for your clients to follow you. It's easier to get that person that's looking for that to follow you. And that's the same with any business. Like you're a life coach, but you specialize in business coaching. I'm sure you could do other things, but that business thing is going to get you the people that you want in the door.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So okay. So do you remember the first time? Because correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of hairstylists are nervous about doing short hair. Is that is
Mm-hmm.
were you nervous? Do you remember the first time you did a short hair and what you were feeling?
Well, the reason why I wasn't nervous is because the lady who I initially worked with, that was her thing. She did short hair. So that's all I was doing every day. For 2 years, I was shampooing, I was constantly watching her. She would let me do her hair sometimes. So, I had a lot of I got a lot of practice in. So no, I wasn't that nervous. But, you know, it is you want the person to like what you've done. That's the nerve wracking part. You just wanting that person to like what you've done and what you've created on their hair.
Okay. And you're right. Because beauty is subjective, right? It's in the eye of the beholder.
Hmm.
Somebody would look at one hairdo and it looks amazing, and then the other person will look at him like it's all right, and then the person who actually got their hair done is either they're gonna be crying. It might be tears of joy or tears of sadness, right?
Right.
What are some questions somebody the first time they walk to you in the door? What are some questions that you definitely ask and depending on the answer determine how you move for that first client just to reduce the chance of you doing something that you think is beautiful but maybe they're not that into.
Well, I'm gonna give you a story. There was this girl whose hair I did, and she really wasn't sure about what she wanted. And I was asking her, what type of styles do you like? What do you like? And she was showing me pictures of short hair, but she wasn't all the way 100% convinced that that was what she wanted. So I didn't really press it a lot. So I just cut her hair. Usually, when you're getting a haircut, you want your client to be 100% sure that that is what she wants. Because for some women, their hair is their glory, and you cut their hair and they could, it might be very devastating for them. And she actually started crying, and I was a young girl and I felt terrible, and it took me a couple of days to recoup from that, and just wanted to continue to do hair because I just couldn't believe I made this lady cry. But I've learned that unless I want my clients, when they're ready to get a haircut, I want them to take the scissors out of their hand and start cutting the first strand just to make sure that is just what they really want. Because if they don't, you know, it could go bad.
That's a good tip. So it sounds like what you just said was based off that experience. If you have someone in your chair with longer hair and they claim that they want to cut it short, you hand them the scissors so they can cut the first lock.
No, well, I'm just saying I want them to be in that headspace when they're coming to me telling me they want a haircut.
That sounds
That's
like a
the
good
type of
idea though. Cause
like
then,
if you want this haircut here, you do it first, and then
cause
I'll
look, cause
finish
that,
it.
that it seemed like that way you get them to buy in. Like, and so if they cry, you be like, hey, you remember you cut the first strand, right? All right. So since you don't give them the scissors, what do you listen for to know that they are 100% in?
I just the tone in their voice, what's making them want to cut their hair is because usually most of the time it's because their hair is damaged.
Or they just broke up?
or it could just a lot of mommy after I just had a baby. You getting out of that baby stage or having a baby, and you want to just come
New
out
hair,
and
new
look
me.
brand new, huh?
They be like, new hair, new me.
Yes, new hair. Who this?
Oh,
All that stuff.
teach me something. So that's what they say in the salon. New hair, who this?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, all right. So they buy in. Okay, so
Mhm.
are you starting to see a pickup in women wearing their hair natural? And what is your definition of natural?
Well, the natural thing has been going on for quite some time. I say past, I say about 7 years. I say people have really tra- uh, transitioned from the relaxers to being natural. Um, and what is natural to me is not having any, not having a relaxer and just going, having that natural look. Or even if you get it blown out, it doesn't always have to stay curly. You can get it blown out and wear it straight that way. People, yeah, a lot of people are not into relaxers like they used to be.
What is a relaxer?
A relaxer is a chemical that you use to straighten your hair.
And I heard you mention strength earlier when you were talking about a relaxer. How does what should someone do before putting a relaxer? What would you say are like three things that you should definitely look for, do, or check for before you put a new relaxer in your head?
Um, you should check for if there's any abrasions on the scalp, how dry that person's hair is, or how damaged it is.
So abrasions, does that is that like scratches, sores? Is that what that means?
Yes, but some people could scratch their hair and make sores in it because if you put a relaxer on top of that, it's gonna burn. So some people have dry hair. Some people's hair is so dry that if they peel it, it's raw up under there. And you have to look for a lot of different things before you put a relaxer in your hair. You don't want to put a relaxer on someone's hair that's damaged. Or if they have a spot in their hair, you might have to go around that spot because, you don't want to put the relaxer on it.
So if you're looking at if you're doing your pre-inspection before you apply relaxer and you see abrasions, do you have to reschedule or do you have to say, all right, this is going to be a bumpy ride. You're gonna feel a couple of burns.
It really depends on what it is. Like they do have different they have sensitive scalp relaxers to use on people's hair that's dry and it doesn't burn as easily. But if you have open sores in your hair, then no, I wouldn't put the relaxer on it that day. I would try an alternative or like a curly style that could kind of like camouflage the new growth. Or if it's I might just have to straighten it with the flat iron. So it just depends on the person and what they're looking for.
And you also mentioned don't apply it like if it's like damaged, right? So what are signs of damage?
Hard hair, you know, you have hair, extremely dry hair, um, hair that is, I don't know if you ever seen someone's hair and is limp. Someone who has long hair, but their hair is just extremely limp and it doesn't move or anything like that. That could be signs of damage. So, mhm. Or, you have hair that's short at your scalp, but you have long hair everywhere else. that hair that's short or that broke off spot, that's damage.
Uh huh. So
Hmm.
so when people come and get hair done, their hair done by you, do you only use your products that you have at the shop, or are they allowed to say, "Hey, I prefer you use this"?
It depends. If it's like a special product that, they've gotten exclusively from somewhere, I will use it. But if it's something that I know for a fact I have something that's better than that, I'm going to use my products.
Okay, so in your opinion, what differentiates average products from superior products? Which I assume you use the superior kind.
Yeah, I mean, I try to mostly use products that people can't buy in, your Walmarts or your Targets and places like that. Because if you can get what I have yourself, why are you coming to me? So, we have in this industry, we have distributors who sell products that are made just for hairstylists. They've made their living off of selling us products that are exclusively for salons. But you have some brands or some, brands that have sold to your your Walmart or your Targets and places like that. But that takes the exclusivity from the hairstylist.
So, but I'm assuming it makes the final product even better. Like,
Right.
is it like a is it shinier? What's the difference, like results rise, that you see?
Yeah, the hair is healthier. You are, you're putting the moisture and all the things that need to be in the hair It's usually with these products, they have seminars and they have, retreats that you can go to where they're teaching you about their products. So you know what to use for each situation
Do
that
you
you come in contact with. So, you kind of become an expert at the product so you know what to use when you are doing your client's hair.
do you go to like hair conferences and stuff like that?
I do. I used to go a lot more, but I have children now, so I don't go as much as I used to. But usually when it's local, I try to get to those. The more education that you have is, things are always evolving. So you always want to keep up with the latest things, the trends, even in hairstyling. I just took a class, 2 weeks? Well, I'm taking a class tomorrow, and I took a class like a couple of months ago. So, you just have to keep up with, if you want to be a success, that's another thing with hairstyling too. Just as anything, you have to have ongoing education because things are always changing, things are always evolving. So you have to make sure you keep up with what is going on.
Brittany, you shared so much information. I really think that the information that you have and the path that you're on, you're gonna use it to help a lot of people, keep a lot
Mhm.
of people looking beautiful in their shortcuts, even in the long. But you specialize in the short and share your knowledge, because I know you educator was one of the things that you mentioned.
Mhm.
Is that what you mean when you say educator? With whoever you decide to take under your wing next year.
Yes, that and another one of my goals is to have a actual online course for a stylist to take, a business course and maybe a haircutting course as well.
Okay, definitely look forward to that. If anybody, uh, what's the last? If any, all right. If anybody wanted to get in touch with you to even to talk about potentially working with you, or to talk about having you be their hairdresser, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Well, I would go on my Instagram. My Instagram is at Brittny's Beauty Bar, and Brittny is spelled BRITTNY Beauty Bar. So that would be because it has my telephone number on there, it has my booking info on there, and it has my email address. So if you go on Instagram, that would be the best way to contact me.
And I'm glad you spelled Brittany for him because I know y'all Britneys don't play. You don't play about the spelling of your name. I know when I sent you the invite link initially when we were scheduling this, and then as soon as I spelled her name, I said, "Oh Lord, let me go ahead." I say because these Britneys don't play about it. You better spell that with every T and every N. It's no E. It's whatever. But thank you so much, Brittny. I appreciate it. Hopefully I can bring you back whenever you get these classes going. And you about to yawn. I'm glad you caught yourself.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I did. I'm like, oh, I'm on TV.
Absolutely. So once again, we got Brittny Briggs, licensed cosmetologist and hairstylist. Thank you so much for being on the EntrepreNudist podcast.
Thank you.